We're happy to be joined by our good friend here at the NHL Network, Kendall Coyne Schofield. Kendall, big news today. What does this mean, and how does this impact you and your fellow hockey athletes and teammates out there?
Big news, Jamison, and we can't thank Secret Deodorant enough. I will have to admit, the first time I heard about this donation and partnership, I did shed a tear, and it was a tear of relief, a tear of joy. And while we continue to move mountains in women's hockey, sometimes it feels like you take a step back, especially during this pandemic. It seemed like women's hockey was quiet for so long. We enjoyed watching the National Hockey League, of course, and congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning. But at times it felt like, where's women's hockey? So this news is not only so exciting, it feels like we're continuing to gain momentum in the women's game. And I mean, the largest donation, $1 million. It's incredible. So it's going to help the 125 players in the PWHPA. We have 38 Olympians, 60 national team players, 5 regions. So we're stacked. We're excited.
Kendall, what's been the reaction on the group text chat when this came down, where you guys will now be playing some prize money in the Dream Gap Tour, which is already great hockey and very well attended, but that much more on the line? What's been the reaction from the players knowing that this sponsorship and this money will be out there?
Everyone's so excited. I will have to say this is a first for many in the women's game to be playing for money, for prize money. So this is definitely changing the landscape in a way. And I think for most of us, if we've played for money, it's usually our equipment manager putting some money on the board for a game in a hometown. So this is definitely different. It's exciting. And I think it definitely intensifies the games.
How about training? You just told us off camera that you're starting to ramp it up. Training camp coming up pretty soon. But, with the pandemic and the uncertainty of what was to come, how did you kind of maintain that training that we've kind of been accustomed to knowing you, since you've worked here at NHL Network, just trying to find ice time whenever it can be? How have you tried to stay in shape and maintain that peak performance throughout this whole thing?
Yeah, well, actually, Jamison, not much has changed from my point of view. I'm still training every day. But what has been actually a lot different, while a lot of the NHL players will go back and the pro players, whatever team they're on, they would be gone by now. They're still actually all around. So while I'm usually on the ice by myself at this point in October, meeting up with Team USA or meeting up with the PWHPA from my hometown in Chicago, I've actually had a really awesome group of players still back home to skate with. So that's been different. It's been awesome. It's kept it energizing and exciting because skating by yourself is no fun. But again, that's why we're fighting for a sustainable professional league that's going to force a player to move somewhere or be ready to go when the time comes. So not much has changed from that aspect. Still on the ice, still in the weight room. And waiting for that green light. And fortunately, we have a green light from the women's national team program coming up this Sunday as we leave for training camp in Blaine, Minnesota.
It can get boring skating around the pros too, Kendall. We know how fast you are. You can just skate around them as they come out as well. But you talk about your training and getting ready to go back with the national team. What does this kind of sponsorship, an infusion of cash, can do for athletes maybe across the game that can need some support to maintain their training and maintain their elite level as an athlete?
You said it, Mike. You're allowed to be professional. You're allowed to put money into the resources you need to be a better hockey player, whether that's a strength coach, whether that's ice, whether that's a skills coach, whether that's eating better, investing in your craft. Oftentimes, you're unable to do that because the priority is living. It's not being an elite athlete, because that's the priority in women's hockey. So this investment from Secret Deodorant allows us to be more professional. It allows us to put a better product on the ice, and hopefully allows the future of the game to see that they matter, that they're worth something, and that companies like Secret Deodorant are investing in you and they are investing in the game. And so I hope there's more companies that come on board so that we can ultimately get to our goal of seeing a sustainable professional league where women are making a livable wage, and that's their full-time job. It's not their hobby, it's their job. So I know we'll get there one day. We'll keep working, but this is a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, Kendall, as you say, this is a step in the right direction, that partnership moving mountains, helping to move that conversation forward. And I think your teammate Hillary Knight might have moved the needle a little bit further earlier this week with some of her comments. And her comments were great, just talking about how sometimes we reference sports as sports and then women's sports. And she went on to say, Kendall Coyne Schofield, she's not just the fastest women's hockey player out there. She's one of the fastest hockey players out there. Your reaction to when you see comments like that coming and how that does further that conversation?
It does. It opens people's eyes. And when I watch that, I go, and Hillary Knight is one of the greatest players to ever play the game. That was my initial reaction from the video. But, you know, she hit it on the head, and it's an awareness. You know, there's so many times people come up to me and say I play girls hockey, and I have to correct them and say, first of all, I'm a woman, and I play hockey. But, you know, you go back to that all-star moment, and I think that's what was so special about it. The players on the ice, the players that talked to me before and after, they viewed me as a hockey player, and that's what we want to be viewed as. And I think going along with that, when we have a sustainable professional league, that conversation changes, that narrative changes, because people can see us and the work we put in on a daily basis. But well said, Hillary Knight, and she's always you know, fighting, you know, in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said by her and well said by you. We appreciate you coming on. We miss having you around the studio. We know you're hard at work training, and we look forward to seeing you in the Dream Gap Tour coming up. Big bucks on the line.
Can't wait.
So
Can't wait.
we expect it to get a little spicy out there.
Thank you both.